Hey beautiful souls, welcome to the Moonology Tarot channel. Today our readings are coming from Glastonbury Tor. I'm going to be drawing our cards from the tour actually. I stopped here just because it's so stunningly beautiful, this particular angle, and I thought it'd be really nice to take a shot from afar and just show you a little bit of the lay of the land. Such a beautiful view, and it is looking as though it's going to be a stunningly beautiful morning. Now it's impossible to do a full reading somewhere like the tour because it's just too public a place. There are too many people, too much energy of people coming in and out. But I'm going to climb to the tour. I've got all my cards with me and we're going to draw 3 cards together. And we'll find a little place that's a little bit private, probably around the base somewhere, but we'll walk to the top of the tour first and then we'll find a little private spot. We'll draw 3 cards together so that you can choose which of the readings you're tuning in with. Now I post these readings every single Sunday and they are really for immediate guidance and information from Spirit about the coming week, and these readings happen to coincide with a full moon, a strawberry moon in Sagittarius, so it's a pretty magnificent place to be tuning in with. And I will draw all the cards that we need as well as those 3. We'll draw the cards for each reading, so you can sit with me for those as well if you wish. And then I will take the cards back to my private space where I do my readings, and we'll bring the energy of this incredible place with us. So beautiful souls, we are now climbing the tour. I'm just about a third of the way up. Just thought I'd pause and do a little span of the incredible view. And I noticed as I came in, there's a lovely, lovely little oak tree that's now being used for prayer ties and being gifted with prayer ties. So as I leave, I will make sure that I place a prayer tie there for all of you. So St. Michael's Tower is now in view, and I'm just going to do a big full circle here because it's so absolutely amazing. I so hope that I'm not too wobbly to make this wonderful and worthy of looking at. There we go. Absolutely beautiful. And here we are inside the tower, which I'm afraid is probably a bit windy. And please also excuse any choppy bits in the editing because there are lots of people around now and we need to be careful that they're not either in camera or also that their conversations are not overheard. So I'm now walking from the north around to the west. Look at these incredible meadows. Aren't they absolutely beautiful? It is so blissful to be amongst these flowers, and I've noticed as I've walked up the tour how they change. Different areas have, there's lots of cow parsley here, there are floods and floods of buttercups and all kinds of orchids as well I've seen on the way up. Absolutely stunning. So we will wander and find a special place to draw our cards for the readings today. So we are in a lovely, secluded, beautiful little spot, sheep in the background. We're on the kind of the base of the tour, the northwest side of the tour, and I think this will be perfect for us to actually get out our cards and draw the first 3 cards for you to choose from to guide you in to see which readings you're drawn to. And then I'm also going to draw all of the cards for the readings as well, and we'll take them away to bring the energy of here back. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is cleanse the area with a bit of sage. I've offered some herbs. There's a beautiful stone down here that we're actually going to use. Just going to cleanse the area here, place that there. This stone seems ideal to sit our cards on, so what we'll do here is we will draw our cards. We're going to use the Alchemy pack to guide you in. Seeing pile 1, oh, and pile 2, how interesting. So pile 1, you have the card of reddening. Okay, I'm going to place that there. Pile 2, we have the card of darkening. Okay, now I will separate them in a moment so you can see them really clearly when we've drawn our runes as well. And I'm also seeing this card here, fog, is for reading 3. I hope the camera is focusing on that okay. So let me show them to you very closely one at a time. So pile 1, we have the card of reddening. Let's draw some runes for you as well. 3 runes that are coming out. You have the rune of constraint, you have the rune of defense, and you have the rune of journey. Okay, let's just place those there. So that is pile 1. And pile 2, we have darkening, melanosis, and your runes. You have the rune of movement, you have the rune of the spiritual warrior, and you have the rune of flow. And pile 3, you have the card of fog, nebula. Let's place that there. And your runes, you have the rune of joy, you have the blank rune, and you have the rune of signals, signs, signals, synchronicities. So those are the cards and the runes for all of the readings. So beautiful souls, I think what I'm going to do now, you can fast forward to any of the readings, the timestamps are below, but what I'm actually going to do now is take each of these cards and runes, and I'm going to draw additional cards on the stone for those of you that wish to sit with that energy. I have 3 pieces of cloth. Look at that fly just landing there and cleaning itself on that card. Isn't that interesting? I always feel everything that happens in a reading happens with purpose. How interesting. So he's moved from the card to, which is the card of fog, to the rune of joy, back to the rune of joy. How interesting. I'm feeling I just want to allow him to do whatever he wishes. He's now flying off. Okay, that's fine. Now, what we're going to do, we have 3 pieces of cloth here. I will get them out. We will go back to reading 1, we'll draw cards and some additional runes, reading 2 cards, additional runes, and reading 3, and we will wrap them in the cloth, and I will then take them home and complete the readings for you in my private space at home. Okay, pile 1, so for your oracle cards, we're going to draw from the Enchanted Map oracle. We will have 1 of these. We're also going to draw from the Woodland Wardens as well. We'll have 1 from this pack too. We're just going to place them on our pile. That's what feels right. Now, because it's a full moon, a strawberry moon in Sagittarius, we'll use a Moonology card as well. So those are our oracle cards. And then we're going to draw from 2 different tarot packs. I always list the cards, by the way, in the description below for anyone that wants to check those out. Oops, our rune has moved. Our rune of constraint has ceased to be constraining. Okay, I'm seeing 3 from this pack. And this is the mystical Manga tarot. We'll draw 3 from this as well. Seeing this and also this one. Okay, your cards are lively and wanting to move. And what I'm actually going to do with your cards is gather them up, okay? And well, I have some pieces of cloth here for you guys. Pile 1, we are going to use the yellow cloth. And I'm going to place your cards here and your runes. And I'm going to wrap up your pile. Okay, so pile 1. Actually have a little bit of cord here as well, so let's just pop that in. A little bit of herbs on there. And that, should that also be tuning into you, that colour, this is pile 1. Okay, pile 2, let's draw from the Enchanted Map, first of all. There is your card. We have from the Woodland Wardens, 2 coming into your pile. That's interesting. Very clearly 2. And from the Moonology pack, I'm seeing this one. Okay, and then we will draw 3 from each of the tarot packs. I'm seeing this one. Feeling very strongly the one on the base here as well. And also this one here. And then the mystical Manga tarot. Oh, whoa, okay, well, we've seen it. Okay, Super Souls, we have seen it. You have the Emperor, the card of the Emperor. When a card shows itself, it shows itself. We must just trust and listen, and there is your 3rd. So, beautiful souls, we have a piece of red cloth for pile 2. We will place your cards into the cloth and your runes. And we will tie this with a little piece of cord. Okay, until we meet again. And so, lastly, pile 3. Let's draw your oracle cards from the Enchanted Map. Very interesting that that fly arrived in this reading and walked around and moved away from the fog to the Rune of Joy. This is a Woodland Warden card. And a Moonology. And then we will draw some tarot cards too for you. I'm seeing this and also this. Interesting, our sage just popped off the rock there. And we will draw from a second tarot pack as well. These 2. There we are. Now, if you are also guided perhaps by the colour of the cloth I'm using to wrap your cards in today is white. So there are your cards and your runes. And we will fold this up. Okay, and draw this around it. And then, my super souls, I will return home and we will smudge my area and open these packets and we will do your readings. So, super souls, I will see you in just a moment. So beautiful souls, I am making my way to towards the tree that is carrying the prayer ties. I've made us one out of one of my rings. I'm not really prepared for prayer ties. I didn't have things with me. I shall bring them in future, actually, because it's a wonderful thing to be leaving in any of the places that we go to prepare for readings. But okay, beautiful moon magic super souls, the energy coming off these is something else. I opened the bag that I had all my cards in and these beautiful parcels wrapped up, ready to come home and do these readings. And I just opened the bag and went, whoa, this is something else. Really, truly, I just feel like, I mean, I can feel it emanating. I don't know what you guys are feeling. I know you're incredibly intuitive and incredibly sensitive. So we have pile 1, we have pile 2, we have pile 3. So I think what I am going to do, I opened the bag, got them out, and I lit a candle and I lit some sage and I lit a joss stick and just thought I'm just going to let these settle for a few minutes. I've had a cup of tea in anticipation of coming in and doing these readings and just getting myself landed as well. But all I can say is, wow, the energy is something else. So let's move to the readings. Okay, beautiful pile 1. Let's open your cards and see what you have. Oh, it's like a spiritual Christmas. Okay. Okay, so we have your primary card, the card of reddening, which of course was drawn on site. We then have your 3 runes. We had the rune of constraint, we had the rune of defense, and we had the rune of journey. Those are your 3 runes. And then your cards, let's have a little look at these. We have the card of encouragement, my apologies. We have the card of encouragement, the quail and the gooseberry, anticipation. Ooh, and a full moon in Virgo. You are good enough. Oh, this is a beautiful message. We then have the card of the wheel. We have the card of temperance and the 3 of swords. How interesting. We have the 4 of swords as well. We have the hanged man, the 4 of swords. Let's move our cards along a little bit so we have plenty of room to bring everything into view. The hanged man, the 4 of swords, and then the card of justice. Okay, and these readings, these are my Sunday readings. I post them every week, and we always ask for a time-sensitive message, an immediate message. What does Spirit need to tell you, and what do you need to know for the coming week? So pile 1, you have a very interesting mix of energy around you this week. Your first message coming through is actually one of patience, but it's a bit more specific than that. Patience, perseverance, you're being encouraged. There's a greater emphasis here on work than there is on kind of home, play, relationships. I feel this is a work-orientated reading. And the specifics of it are that there are some details you need to attend to. I think by the end of the week, this feels like a working week when I think you can achieve a lot, but you may not feel like you are while you're doing it. I'll try and explain exactly what I mean. I'm not quite getting my words precise, but I will try and do so. The card reddening suggests that something comes to a completion, and with the wheel, I'm seeing something come to a completion, something feeling as if it's a bit like if you're preparing, let's say you're doing your dissertation, if you're at university and you're doing a dissertation, and it's a week where there are time constraints around, like a deadline. And I feel that you will achieve what you need to achieve within the time scale that you have. But I also feel that you may not feel as if you are, because there is a real need here to pay attention to the detail. Full moon in Virgo, but pay attention to the detail without nitpicking yourself. We have the quail and gooseberry, we have encouragement here as well. And this often indicates partnership, but I do feel this is more work than play. Very interesting, because I rather think you genuinely could place yourself under undue pressure. And I think that getting from A to Z this week, let's say you're writing that dissertation, you've got a deadline to meet or a something to be fulfilled. I think you're going to fulfill it. I think you're going to get to this sort of sense of completion, this sense of satisfaction. Your reading is really, really interesting, because it's sort of saying to you, you can kind of do this the easy way, or you can do it the hard way. Okay, I'm quite mindful actually of climbing the Tor, to draw these cards. And actually, there's a kind of a steep way up, which was actually the way I came down. There's a more steady way up, and then there's a steep way up. I've walked both on different occasions, or indeed you can actually walk a very specific directional way, which people do at certain, usually, at certain earth festivals, certain times of the year. And they will walk in a particular pattern. It's like a spiral that climbs the Tor. This is associated with fertility. Many women walk that particular pathway at certain times of the year in order to become pregnant. It's very much a ritual that's associated with fertility, as is the prayer tree where I hung that prayer tie for all of you. I feel with the rune of constraint, this rune Nathas it says that the energy of constraint is around you, but with purpose. When fishermen can't go to sea, they mend their nets. What I feel you're being shown here is that you need to give something in your world a focus this week. You really do need to apply your focus without getting kind of tangled in negativity. It's almost as though your attitude to what you're doing, that let's just do this and enjoy every second of it, as opposed to placing pressure upon yourself to move fast or to see results quickly. I think the energy you invest in the doing of it, the enjoyment of it, will basically make the difference between this being a super fab week or a really, really challenging week. I feel like the outcome is basically the same. It's really interesting. You could give yourself a very hard time, or you could treasure every second and sort of appreciate the moment. It's very interesting. I feel this has almost got some essence of the law of attraction in it, and yet also some element of fate and destiny. Because you could tangle yourself up in, I'm not getting there, I'm not achieving it. If you slow down enough so that you can kind of see what you're dealing with, I think you'll be able to take a balanced approach to this. If you give yourself a really hard time, if you think of the higher vibrational energy of Virgo, you are good enough. Virgo energy is wonderfully good at attending to the details, being really diligent. But Virgos are renowned for giving themselves a really hard time. You know, they have a raging inner critic sometimes. They're real perfectionists to the point where they can almost block themselves from moving forwards. Even though they are such amazing achievers, they block themselves from moving forwards because they're so critical of what they're doing because of that perfectionism. And I really feel that energy here is around you for this week. We're being shown that you can absolutely achieve what you want to achieve. And I do feel there's quite a lot, I would almost say a lot at stake here. If we actually look very specifically at your cards here, encouragement 54, and also the quail and the gooseberry. So we have encouragement and anticipation. These are also carrying quite a fascinating message for you around completion of something. I think for some of you as well, there is an underlying message of being conscious of, I want to say, the results of the result, okay? Because I think you're going to get the result you want, okay? And you could give yourself a very hard time along the way, or alternatively, you could just really, really enjoy. You could enjoy this. There's also something about the consequences. I feel you guys are stepping up into something that's quite big. It is a fascinating theme that is really consistently coming through some of the readings at the moment. So you guys, you know, really, really honouring your progress, your work, the things that you're doing, because this really is a theme that seems to be consistently showing up in the readings. And we're sort of seeing very specifically this week a stage of that journey coming to a point of success or completion. And we're being given almost two separate kind of messages. One is to do with the journey from A to Z, as it were, and of enjoying that process, of being meticulous but not giving yourself a hard time, the inner critic stuff. The other is actually about, genuinely about anticipation, recognizing the consequences with the card of justice. And the hangman as well, seeing ahead of time. You know, like if you, I don't know, so I'm going to use a different example. So we used the example previously of doing a dissertation and, you know, for university, for example, and of getting there and not nitpicking yourself, enjoying the process. But let's say you were filling in job applications, for example, and everything is dependent upon the result of your dissertation. This is almost like we're moving a step further along that line, that story, but it's kind of like applying for the job of a lifetime and then you get it. And it's like, actually, now you apply for the job of a lifetime, now you've got it, there's a ton of stuff that has to be done. Around that, there are going to be significant changes. So there's also something about being aware of the results of the result, the consequences of the result. Also laying some plans ahead of time, almost like, I want to say, expect a miracle. Expect success. Because when you're working on something, we can so easily just, again, be bogged down in the doing of it. And then when the result comes in and it's amazing, we're kind of unprepared. I've said to a few of you an example I've given in some of the other readings, because I'm really seeing this focus for some of you coming in on success of something, investing in something, working at something, persevering at something. And there seems to be a lot of encouragement for you to persevere, to keep going, to bring something forth. Okay, and it's like then dealing with the consequences of that. So if, for example, you're doing something and you put it out there and it goes viral, you know, there are consequences to something going viral. It's magnificent, it's fantastic, but you might have 300 emails in your inbox and you're going to have to respond to them all. I remember a friend launching a book. It was a beautiful book that she wrote. She's a Pesso-Boyden therapist. Her name is Juliet Grayson. Brilliant book about Pesso-Boyden, and it's a form of therapy and working in with relationships. And she launched it, and she said what she didn't expect was to wake up to sort of something like 450 emails in her inbox the following morning that she needed to and she needed to reply to all of them, because they were all relevant and they were all a part of her career pathway and consequences of the book, people wanting her to speak and do all sorts of really, really fabulous things. And her work is extraordinary. But she didn't expect that. She wanted the success, but she hadn't anticipated it. And she had several full days of workshops that she was doing and therapy sessions. Really, on launch day, it would have been better if she cleared her schedule for an entire week in anticipation of the success. You are good enough, full moon in Virgo. Very often we don't anticipate success. We want it, but because we really, really want it, but we don't necessarily quite believe it will happen or that it will deliver. And then when it does, there are consequences. There are things that have to be attended to. So your reading has a really interesting underlying additional message to it, which is to do with anticipating success. Expect the miracle, okay? Persevere. Don't get bogged down in the detail. Love what you are doing for the sake of it. But you're going to see some form of success coming through, something coming to a completion. If you've been writing to lots of publishers or agents, or you're posting stuff on social media, something suddenly goes viral. There's something that comes to fruition here for you. And I think you've had to persevere very hard. You've had to work very hard to be here. But the underlying message, the secondary message, aside from keep going, cross the T's and dot the I's, is literally also that. Cross the T's and dot the I's in anticipation of the consequences of the results. There's a separate layer of work to be done in recognizing that when you get what you wished for, there will be stuff that you're going to have to attend to. So be prepared. Persevere, complete, but also be prepared. Because I sort of feel as if you don't quite believe that the level of success you truly want is actually going to come to you. Okay? So really, really interesting reading for you, pile one. And with the rune of journey, I would suspect for some of you there could be travel involved, actually. There really could be travel involved. And although the rune of journey sometimes talks about removing obstacles from within us, obstacles to our progress, inner blocks, aspects of self-doubt, in all honesty, I do think there could be, I feel this is indicating openings. The wheel turning. I mean, you can be on top of your game, but there will be consequences to it. Stuff is going to start moving quite quickly. I do feel for you that the focus of your week is going to be about work rather than play, rather than love. I'm not saying that those aspects of your world aren't there, but I do feel it is about work. And interestingly, the card of encouragement does actually say, look, the right people will show up at the right time. Everything you need is going to be given to you. Anticipation, the quail and the gooseberry, is about preparation. If you pick gooseberries, or certainly in a traditional way, they're really spiky. Stunning, gorgeous, beautiful fruit, but you need to pick them carefully. So you need to be thoughtful. You can't just go at it like a bull in a china shop, because you'll end up, getting prickled, really. And yeah, with the Justice card, and she's blindfolded, I do feel you are being advised to really approach your week steadily and make sure that you can see that it's anticipating success. Anticipate success, expect the miracle, pile one. And part of your week is almost to be in preparation, not just for the end result, working with the end result, but in preparation for what will then come from those results. pile one, your reading for this week is very, very clear, very, very interesting energy around you of success. I am thrilled for you. I mean, I really, really am. And I'm loving that the energy of Glastonbury came here, of the Tor, because that is a place of fertility. And as I hung the prayer tie that I made there and then spontaneously, I'm definitely going to have prayer tie makings in my bag of, I now have a little bag that I'm taking out onto the land with me. I've had such a calling to take cards onto the land, to tune in with the energy of very, very special places, very special trees that I've met along the way, that I am really excited to be sharing with you guys, taking you to some really amazing places to really enhance the energy of our readings. But of course, Glastonbury Tor is a place that's associated with fertility. It's also a kissing point where the two major energy lines, the Michael line and the Mary line, it's one of the kissing points where they cross. It's the point where they both meet. And these are very significant points. As I start to take readings out onto the land and we draw those first our cards out there, I will be visiting more than one kissing point over time. And Super Souls also, I would say, please bear with me as well. I usually post 2 or 3 readings a week, sometimes sometimes more, some shorts as well. Going out onto the land means it takes a little bit more time. With Glastonbury, that's quite away from where I live. Sometimes I can walk to somewhere relatively nearby, but that's not always the case. And if I'm journeying to places, to tune in with these amazing places and the energy connected to them for our readings, it may mean that I'm not always able to post quite as often. I will aim to post at least twice a week, and these readings are timeless. Whenever you come to them, the messages will be right for you. But yeah, do please bear with me if you don't see me posting sort of every single day. That really is why I'm really it's quality, not quantity, isn't it? And I've had such a strong calling to connect to the land for the readings for you. So, and it's, the prayer tie. I'm definitely going to have to put ingredients for prayer ties into my bag of cards and the phone to record and all the bits and pieces that I have to take out with me. And prayer ties are now going to be there, but I was able to be very adaptable and use one of my rings and the cordage from one of the bags that the cards are in to create that prayer tie for you. And I wished for fertility for you all, actually. That was my prayer. I didn't, as you see, I'll bring up that little bit of footage for you now, actually, just seeing the prayer tie in that tree. I didn't record me speaking because there were too many other people around, and so it also recorded them, and obviously we need to be really thoughtful about the privacy of other people. There's all sorts of jumps in the footage at the top of the tour because there were lots of people there, so it's not okay to be videoing other people and bringing them into the public domain, including their conversations, and that's why I sort of shifted and spoke over with the prayer tie bit in a different way. Anyway, I am now waffling. I'm going to wish you an amazing week of productivity, pile one, and anticipation of success. Expect a miracle, beautiful souls. Sending you the biggest hug in the world, and thank you so much for being here, for supporting me, supporting the channel. You really are appreciated, and all of you as well who follow my readings, all of them, and follow them consistently. I cannot tell you how much you mean to me. It really is. I'm so grateful to all of you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hey, pile 2, welcome to your reading. Let's actually undo this beautiful parcel. Very different energy coming off this one to pile 1, actually. Very different energy. Now, let us look at your cards and your runes. So, your first card is the card of melanosis, darkening. We have a beautiful raven here with a snake. How interesting. Your runes, we had the rune of the spiritual warrior, we had the rune of movement as well, and we also had the rune of flow. So I'm seeing something significantly moving forwards here for you. Interestingly enough, I think it's moving forwards because you take action, actually. I think you initiate something, or you draw the line, or you make a decision. There's something quite decisive about the energy of the spiritual warrior rune. Very discerning, very clear, very concise. And with movement, we see the bettering of any situation. And with the rune of flow, I mean, this means things are flowing and moving forward. So there's a lot of movement, a lot of energy for you. Now, we also had the card of the Emperor that actually showed itself when we were drawing the cards. Now, the card of the Emperor is a card of leadership. Let's have a look and see what else we have. So we have Stuck in the Mud. Now I remember your pile. You had two cards. You had the Fox and Ivy, Adaptability, and the Skunk and Magnolia, Protection. Okay. You then had Stuck in the Mud. You had Look at the Bigger Picture. Well, you have Look at the... How interesting. Full moon in Sagittarius, and that is exactly where we are right here, right now. The full moon in Sagittarius. Wow, the strawberry moon. Well, your energy is utterly tuned into where we are at the point of this reading going live. We then have the Four of Swords. We have the Eight of Cups. We have the Hanged Man. We have the card of the Tower and the Queen of Wands. Okay, let me see if I'm just going to move this lovely pile over here out of our way for a moment. Oops. So we have the Tower and we have the Queen of Wands. Is that going to get in? I think we can get those into view. Cool. Yes, that's beautiful. Beautiful, lovely. Pile 2, something is about to change for you. And it feels pretty radical, but in a really, really good way. With the rune of movement, Awaz, this is a rune of, it's the bettering of any situation. Something is moving forwards, it's gathering momentum. I feel like you've done the work around something. It may actually be connected to some kind of aspect of a relationship with someone that felt very stuck. It could be a situationship as well, but I actually think it's, for many of you, it will be connected to some kind of a relationship. Maybe there was a sense of dependency or obligation, or, you know, Ivy always speaks to me of an aspect of codependency, where maybe somebody is either dragging you down, or they're stuck in their ways, or they've been limiting your horizons. And you've reached a point where I sort of feel you become free of it. The full moon in Sagittarius, this moon is loaded with positivity, actually. And Sagittarians need freedom. Sagittarians need to be free, to be who they are, to be themselves. They don't do well with restrictions. I feel you're breaking free from something. The card of Darkening, Melanosis. It's a card that says, ultimately, you've done the work. You've done the shadow work, and you're therefore ready to emerge. If you have been, any aspect of your world that's been feeling stuck, I think this week you'll see it become unstuck. But for some of you, there is a connection to some aspect of people, of relationships, because the Skunk and Magnolia, Protection. Skunks are able to repel the people that they don't want, because, you know, they spray, you know, their scent. And okay, I'm sure that's utterly adorable and wonderful and to another skunk, but it's not necessarily adorable and wonderful to their enemies. So they are able to protect themselves. The Fox and Ivy. Foxes are very adaptable. Very, very adaptable. And Ivy is a card. As I said, Ivy is a plant. It can cling. If it's too rampant, it can damage another tree. But when in harmony, when in balance, it can really work. And it's a prolific climber as well. Ivy can climb. It moves up. It climbs up things. I think the meaning of the ivy is in two ways with you. Pile 2. I think some of you have been dealing with a circumstance, a situation, a group of people, and it's felt like you're wading through treacle. You know, when you're trying to move something forwards and it just ain't happening. And behind that, for some of you, there have definitely been people who have an investment in something staying the same. They don't want change. They don't want it to move, or they've even wanted to potentially limit your horizons. It may just be that somebody is genuinely codependent and leaning on you, leaning heavily on you, and you reach a point where you can kind of see what's going on. And this is the point where you're taking charge of your choices, your decisions. You're no longer held back by something. If there was any sense of obligation that was inappropriate, I think you this week navigate in a different way. I mean, this feels like a reading of absolute empowerment. Okay, pile 2, and I'm loving that. I mean, these readings are very specific. They're very much connected to the here and now. They are timeless. You can tune in with them at any time. But you're ready to kind of rise to power. You've developed your resilience, your adaptability. I feel like, I won't say water off a duck's back, but I sort of feel you have a clarity. If there's someone around you who kind of very easily presses your buttons, or there's an area of, I don't know, a little bit, I would call it, it's what I call emotional scar tissue, you know, where there's stuff that rubs us up the wrong way quite easily. You know, please remember, you know, your buttons are your buttons. So, you know, if they get pressed, what are you going to do about them? And I feel you've got to that point where that's the zone you're in. Instead of just thinking, oh, my buttons are pressed, or reacting, you're like, oh, my buttons are pressed. Well, they're my buttons, you know, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm walking away. I'm going in the other direction. Water off a duck's back. I don't have to buy into this. It's not a sort of an attitude of, it doesn't feel like a negative attitude, you know. I don't feel there's any resentment in that. It's just, do you know what? You can do your own thing and I'll do mine. You know, actually, you don't resonate with me, or you're very stuck. That doesn't mean I have to sit and be stuck with you. My choices are my choices. It feels very clean, clear, crisp, empowered, ready to take ownership of your choices, your pathway. I'm seeing a huge amount of stepping up. Something shifts with the Tower. Yeah, and I do feel, my darlings, you have done the work. You're ready to spring forwards. You really, really are. Your reading, pile 2, is remarkably clear in that if for some reason any of you are genuinely right here and right now really feeling bogged down or stuck, it feels as though during this week you reach that point where you choose to let go of it. It could be letting go of a sense of obligation or something within you that stops you from, or keeps you stuck or attached to a situation, a circumstance, a relationship, a situationship that keeps you attached to it. You relinquish something, you let go of something that has been tying you to something. Sometimes it's an attitude, but I do feel with Ivy, connections to other people, being able to now defend yourself, move forwards. If you've held yourself back in any way due to other people's perspectives, this is time to change, and the change is coming. All I'm seeing in your reading is a sense of leadership, empowerment, no longer being held back, making clear choices, kind of recovering almost as well from connections that haven't been entirely good for you in some way, shape or form. Curiously enough, pile 2, because of the card of the Tower, I actually do feel for you guys, I wish to draw some additional clarifying cards, because the Tower kind of indicates that change is coming. And sometimes it indicates that something will happen to create this shift. In some ways you're ready for it, but I am a little curious about what this card is about. It could simply be indicating that phenomenal radical change of attitude, perspective, position in something, because you can now draw boundaries, you are now empowered, you can now make choices and decisions that are actually about prioritizing what's right for you, and everything is then moving forwards. But I am very curious as to whether there is also some external influence that comes in this week that maybe creates that turning point. So I am going to draw some additional cards for you, beautiful souls. I'm going to draw on another tarot pack. This is my oldest pack. You can see by how worn the cards are. They're literally really soft to touch. You know how when something is handled so much, it gets very soft around the edges. Okay, so we have... Okay, Page of Cups, we have King of Swords and Queen of Swords. Okay, how very, very interesting. And the King of Swords did come out in reverse, though this particular pack were never designed to be read in reverse. Okay, Page of Cups tells me everything I need to know. Okay. You've had some kind of a connection to someone who is... I'm actually going to place that. Although these cards weren't designed to be in reverse, I am putting it in reverse because it's part of your story. Okay. You've had someone around you, whether they've influenced a situation or you are directly connected to them. They are really, really narcissistic. This is Narcissus, gazing at his own reflection in the cup. You have had somebody who's been a bit of a torment, or you've had a very narcissistic person in your life, and people who are like that continue to press your buttons. For some of you, it really is a connection to someone or a circumstance that is driven by someone's narcissism, someone's selfishness, and back to that sense of obligation or being tangled in something that isn't necessarily really ideal for you, has limited your freedom. They are being toppled from their position as kind of king. This came out in reverse. I think if we look at this king, he holds the scales in his hand. I think this is somebody who has ruled the roost, as often people who are very narcissistic do. I mean, narcissistic people can be very charismatic, but actually I think they are toppled from their position of power. The scales tip, the tower breaks. Something comes along here to cause them to sort of, to topple from power or to be seen for who they really are. Their ability to control other people's perspectives, perceptions is challenged. It's really interesting, the King of Swords coming out, and we see these people toppling upside down, toppling down from the tower. It's sort of almost had to come, you know, it had to happen. There's almost something quite karmic about this. It's just really interesting, taking me back to, you know, being in Glastonbury, walking up that tor and, you know, stopping up, for those of you that looked at the footage at the beginning, you know, looking at that incredible view, and St Michael's Mount, St Michael's Tower at the top of Glastonbury Tor. It's, you know, St Michael is often depicted slaying the dragon. You know, Archangel Michael is often depicted cutting cords. It's the energy of that tower. Of course, yes, it's the tower energy, isn't it? Yes. I was really tuning in there again to exactly to the Tor this morning. It is as if the tower falls. There's the energy of cutting cords. Archangel Michael really helps us to cut cords. Something will happen this week to cause the circumstance, the situationship, the relationship, the person who is kind of stirring it up behind the scenes, the narcissistic person, something will happen that will change the balance of things. So whereas they have held the balance of power, and I think you have often felt powerless in response to them, that changes. In part, that is because you've done the work. They no longer have power over you. You can take it or leave it. Look at this Queen of Swords. Look at the way she tips the water out of the jug. It's like you can take it or leave it. But something happens to shift this balance of power. And I think you step into a space where there is, on the one hand, there is recognition, but really, yeah, it's personal empowerment. Something happens to topple this person's position, and the work you've been doing is a part of that. I almost feel there'll be an opportunity for you to actually cut some cords. Something will come along that will give you an opportunity to cut some cords. You know how with someone who's very narcissistic, because they're very charismatic, they can be very convincing in the way that they speak to people and the way that they maneuver people. It can make it very, very hard to make decisions. You know that stuff is going on that's not okay, but everything that's being presented is sort of one thing, and yet you kind of, your gut feeling says it's not quite as it is, all that kind of area. And I do feel something's going to happen that will give you a legitimate, clear, upfront opportunity to cut some cords, to be discerning, to make some clear choices. And yeah, water off a duck's back. It's as if things are no longer affecting you, as if something comes to light. Yeah, the balance of power tips this week, my beautiful souls. So whatever this relationship, circumstance, situationship is, the balance of power changes here. Keep your sights on the bigger picture, especially if you're still feeling a little bit stuck. But this is shifting, and it's this week it does. Everything in your reading is about empowerment and things moving forwards, and moving forwards in your favour. Okay? So this is super good. I'm not saying it's easy. I feel with the crow energy, this has not been an easy energy or person to navigate, but the balance of power shifts and you step into your own. The Emperor came through so clearly. Even when we were drawing the cards, this card showed itself there and then. It's very interesting, actually. I find myself thinking too, beautiful souls, about the location that we were in as we drew these cards, because we were at the base of the Tor, but in a position of it was like the northwest. And, you know, on a medicine wheel, the west is the place where we kind of go to ground and we reflect, you know, and then as we move to the north, things are becoming clear. We're connecting with our guides, our ancestors, the wisdom in the north, the wisdom keepers. And so there's a movement, a shift forwards from a place of reflection to a place of clarity, of mindfulness, of consciousness, of awareness, so that we can begin to know how to take action and move on from something. It's very interesting, that location, and the Emperor card showing itself, all about taking charge, becoming a leader in your own right, no longer being tied by somebody else's stuff. And this is big stuff, because these kinds of connections take up energy. I mean, you know, a narcissist is an energy vampire. They take energy, they draw energy, they detract from your, if you think of yourself as a pie chart of energy, if you're dealing with a narcissist, they kind of eat away at that, and there's not enough in your pie chart to really steer your own ship and take charge of your own life. That is changing. I think something happens that topples their power. I don't know what it is. We're not being shown that specifically, and it's a general reading, so I'm so tempted just to draw another card for you, just to ask for a teensy bit more information here. What is it that topples this? we're going to do it. We'll draw more cards. I'm very intrigued for you. May we have just a little bit of information about how this happens. You've got the Emperor again. How interesting. 2 Emperors. And the Star. Ooh, okay. Okay. I'm going to say to you, beautiful souls, you are the cause of this. Not because you do anything that's necessarily exposing, particularly. I think because you are being you and behaving with integrity, leadership, with clarity, because you're not drawn into something in anymore. Yeah, the very essence. It's almost as if your integrity is paying off. You've probably had to work quite hard to hold a good pathway with this situation or this person. And this is the point where I did say maybe recognition, but I think people, onlookers, other people who are involved, they have a sort of a comparison. They can see how you're behaving and they can see how this other person or these circumstances are emerging. And because there's such a stark comparison, you in a way, the perspectives or the perceptions of this person are toppled, because it's really clear that you are behaving with integrity. You don't play games. You're really clear. He's holding this point in the chess set. You're not prepared to buy into something anymore. Yeah. Something of this game playing stops. I would also say with this Emperor holding the chess piece, the game playing that goes on in these kinds of connections, these relationships, with the Fox energy, that adaptability, you don't buy into it, and as such, you kind of hold the winning piece. There's a shift this week in real terms with something or someone that has that energy, that narcissistic game playing kind of dominant power, inappropriate misuse of power stuff going on. And my beautiful pile 2, it shifts big time. You gain empowerment, and there's a sense of freedom with the full moon in Sagittarius. There's a real sense of freedom of you, a bit like walking up the Tor, looking across at that incredible view, seeing the bigger picture. I almost feel you become the bigger picture. You are the bigger picture. You know that this doesn't matter. But the very nature of the way that you are highlights the way that somebody else isn't, if that makes sense, or shows who they are and what they are. And wow, the energy moves, everything starts to flow forwards. So whatever result is needed in connection to this circumstance, person, situation, the desired result comes to you, beautiful souls. It really does. Fascinating and really important for me, I feel, to have drawn these additional cards for you, pile 2. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you all of you who follow my readings, you know, week in, week out. I cannot tell you how much that means to me, and reading your comments and the sharing of your stories. You guys are remarkable, because we're in such a period of accelerated growth, and individually this sort of level of work within relationships is what's really helping to change humanity for the better and make sure that, you know, patterns are not repeated. You know, this is individual work that has a much greater impact on the bigger picture than you can possibly realize. So my beautiful souls, thank you. It's an honor to read for you. And you know, thank you so much to all of you who are, you know, following my readings and are a part of this community. Please bear with me if I don't post every single day, because going out onto the lands now, which is really a big calling for me, connecting in and tuning in with the energy of remarkable places, which I'm really, really excited about sharing with you, it takes a lot of extra time. Glastonbury is nowhere close to where I live, and so, you know, instead of just sitting and doing a reading for you, it now involves traveling, journeying, walking, setting up, you know, my phone and my camera to be able to, you know, and finding the right spot to draw cards and all of the things it involves. It feels really important for me to be doing this, especially at this time when our connection to the earth is so relevant, rebuilding our relationship as a collective humanity with our beautiful planet. But it does take extra time, so please bear with me if I don't post every single day. I'm still aiming to post at least 2, usually 3 readings a week anyway, but you know, bear with me. And thank you so much, all of you, for supporting the channel and supporting me and all of the work that I do and all of the free stuff that I put into the world. You know, it's a joy to read for you. Thank you so much for being here. Tons and tons of love to you all. This really does feel like a reading and a week of victory for you, actually, at a level of soul growth and of overcoming some stuff that has been pretty stuck and difficult. Hey, my beautiful pile 3, welcome to the unveiling of your parcel. This is just such a magical way to work. Incredible energy coming through from the Glastonbury Tor. Really phenomenal, actually. Now let's have a look at your cards. So you had the card of fog. You also had the rune of joy. It's very interesting when that, as we were drawing the cards, for those of you that were sitting with me, the way that right at the beginning that fly arrived and it moved between the fog and joy. It was as if there was a clarity coming. It's very interesting because the rune of joy actually does speak of almost like the fog lifting. It's carried across the gap by the wings of heaven. I always imagine it as a new dawn. It's like walking through a really misty morning and suddenly the mist lifts, it rises, the fog lifts, and you can see clearly. So very powerful energy and a connection being shown with that fly. We have the blank rune, which is all about possibility, and then we have the rune of signals, signs, signals, synchronicities. Let's have a look at the rest of your cards. How interesting. We have, your first card is the card of deep freeze. Yeah, so something has around you has not been seen clearly. Oh, and then we have the energy of the owl and the hop. How interesting. And of course, owls see in the dark. Signs, signals, synchronicities. The answers you need are coming. I was going to say you're going to be shown exactly what you need to see. The answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. How interesting. We then have the cards of the 2 of Pentacles. We have the moon. Yeah, there's a bridge to cross for you, literally carried across the gap by the wings of heaven. You're at a point where you need to cross over to move from one position to another, or if I'm almost seeing you walking across like a river, like a stream, and there are stepping stones, and you're needing to get from one stepping stone to the next. You're needing to find a way through something or across something. We have the card of judgment. Okay. So yeah, you're going to see what you need to see to change something and to move it forwards. We then have the Fool. We then have the Ace of Wands. And then we have the 3 of Wands. Okay. You're moving from a point this week where something you can't see, or it's not clear to you, or you don't know how to proceed or what to do next. It will be shown to you really clearly, and you're going to move from that place of really not knowing what to do, can't see the woods for the trees, to being able to know exactly what you need to do Absolutely, exactly. It's like that judgment call to know what you need to do to move something forwards. What is interesting is it feels like you might need to step out of your comfort zone, take a little bit of a risk. Pile 3, your message is actually very, very clear, or certainly a first message here, which is you do not need to try to move something forwards. It's going to move forwards of its own accord. Sometimes there's a clear message in a reading. It will say, you know, take action now, time to move something forwards, time to work solidly, or whatever that may be. Your reading is really saying exactly what you need to see will be shown to you. Chill out. Take it easy. You don't need to worry about what to do next. Literally, I feel like step by step, those stepping stones across that stream, you'll be shown exactly what you need to do. The clarity will come. This feels like a week when you're incredibly supported and guided, actually. Supported, guided, given exactly what you need in order to grow. A hop plant will grow, I mean, it just phenomenally. It's a climbing plant. It climbs, it grows, and it grows incredibly quickly. I think it's one of those plants that actually they cut it right back at the end of the year, of the season, and then it just grows prolifically, and it fruits and it flowers. Yeah, something will come to you. There'll be a gift, actually. That's what I'm hearing. Ace of Wands. There'll be a gift given to you this week. Now this gift, very clear message coming through. Yeah, you're going to be given a gift, and the gift is going to open a doorway for you, which will give you a clarity of direction. So if, for example, you are trying to make decisions and you have several choices in front of you and you don't know which choice to make, don't try to push for the answers. They're just going to be shown to you. I do see a decision for some of you. Do you go this way or that way? But you are literally going to be shown exactly what you need. You'll be given a gift. Now, it may come in a form that you are not expecting. Okay? Almost like out of nowhere. Signals, signs, synchronicities. Pay attention, pile 3, to unexpected things taking place. Pay attention to your dreams. If you have a random dream and you think, what was that about? Be then very conscious of what's going on around you. Like that fly arriving, something quite random could show up, and you might just think, I mean, if a fly lands on your card or your something, you know, we don't necessarily, we just brush it off, we shoo it away. But actually, that fly landing was showing us, it was moving from the fog to the joy. It was saying, look, you don't have to worry. It went back and forth for, you know, a couple of seconds. And I was very inclined to sit and wait and watch. And then it just flew off because I wondered if it would journey to any of the other runes. And it didn't. The blank rune is like a space of gestation. The deep freeze card speaks of potential, of not having to take action. You don't have to push something forwards, because your reading is suggesting that something will be given to you. The signs, the important information, the answer you need will be given to you. I kind of almost want to say chill out and take it easy. You're visioning in something for the future, but whatever you are moving to, it's quite curious, because on the one hand, I want to say, pile 3, take it easy, chill out. On the other hand, I actually think there'll come a moment when you do need to take action. But it's going to be shown to you. You'll be gifted with something, an idea or an opportunity or a clarity, or a doorway will open for you. There is going to be a point this week when a decision gets made. It will be made because you're given a piece of information or a sign or a signal. Could be like a song. You know, a song on the radio, you turn the radio on or you open a book and exactly what you needed to see or hear gives you the answer you need, and you know exactly what step to take next. I do think there could be a decision or a choice here for you. And it may be that some of you are worrying about that choice. You don't need to. This is the message. It's so clear. You don't need to push for the answers or explore or investigate. The answer will be given to you and you'll know exactly which way to go. I will, for you, pile 3, draw some more cards. I did for pile 2 as well. I sort of feel like there is something of great potential. Literally a pathway to the future, a new dawn coming, because the Fool is not a small card, it's a big card. So whatever this connects to for you personally, something's opening up for you. Something is really going to become very clear, a direction, a choice. May we please have more information for pile 3? Yes, the Hermit. You're being shown the way. This is like the guiding light. I always feel with the Hermit card, it always brings to mind, how interesting, it brings to mind the image of a labyrinth. I'm very mindful of the roots to get to the top of the Tor, of Glastonbury Tor. There's a steep way up, there's a more gentle way up. If you look at the Tor from one side, depending on what angle you look at it, one side is much steeper than the other. And that's the sort of north and south sides, I think. But there's also a route, I was speaking about this in one of the other readings, that people take, which is more like a spiral that takes you to the top. And it's a route of fertility. People walk it at particular times of the year for fertility, for results, and it's like sowing seeds for the future. I feel you're going to be given something that will sow a seed for the future with the 3 of Wands, looking ahead. You're being guided this week, you really are. You're being shown what you need in order to create something that will bring you future potential. Or a decision you make. Yes, look at this, the 10 of Pentacles. This is about your potential future, your happiness, your longer term vision. You're going to be gifted something this week that creates a particular direction or pathway. It's a bit like, let's say and it could be quite random, or it could seem quite random, but I feel like the universe is really steering you and guiding you this week, pile 3. It's kind of like that there's some area of your world that you feel a bit stuck in. It will be something you're wanting to manifest. And it has a reference point to your longer term future. So it could be a career pathway, it could be a relationship, it could be home, family, but whatever it is for you, there's something that you're not quite sure. It's almost as if you're feeling like it's not really happening and you're not quite sure what to do to manifest it. Now, there are steps to be taken in order to move it forwards, but you're going to be shown what you need to do with great clarity. You're being guided this week, very specific information coming to you that will open the doorway. It will give you clarity as to what to do in order to move towards the future of your dreams. It's something you really desire. With the 10 of Pentacles, it's like a key to your long-term happiness will be given to you this week. You will need to take action. You will definitely need to take action at some point, but it is a key to your longer-term future. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Yes, the High Priestess. Don't be afraid to make a choice. High Priestess, I always feel we're seeing decisions here. And look at that pathway, that window, and can you see that there is a waterfall through that doorway at the end here? Yeah, don't be afraid, don't be fearful to make choices. I actually think for some of you there already is a decision in front of you and you don't quite know which way to go, and for others you're feeling just a bit stuck and you're wondering what step to take next. But either way, the information that you need to make a choice and to know which step to take next will be made very, very clear to you. If you are faced with a decision right now, don't rush to make it. The choice will become very, very apparent. Something will be given to you, a gift, information. And if you're, as I said, if you're just sitting here thinking, well, I really, really want something, I know what I want, that vision of my long-term future, but I don't know what step I should take to try and make it happen, don't worry about it. Chill out. You'll be shown exactly the signs, the synchronicities, the steps to take. It will come though this week. We have the Judgment card, we have the Fool. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone either and try something new if you're shown it. If a window of opportunity comes to you, and it could be quite random, like, I don't know, you know, you're driving and there's a diversion and then you think, oh, you know, I'm gasping for a coffee, I'll stop. Stop, you know, or you think, shall I just keep going? No, if you're gasping for a coffee, stop. Check out that little coffee shop, that little independent store that you've never been to and you're on a diversion and you didn't expect to be there, because actually while you're in there you could be given, you might bump into someone who ends up knowing someone else, and that creates the way forward, the opportunity. It's like one thing leads to another, leads to another. You are guided and shown the way this week, pile 3. It's really, really clear. So it is a week to trust. It is a week to trust the universe. It is a week to trust that you will be shown exactly what you need as you need it. But also within that trust, to kind of enjoy that sense of trust. You know, don't wobble. The guidance is really clear. This is a week when you are so supported to move across that gap. That moved across the gap by the wings of heaven. And tuning in with our beautiful journey to draw these cards at Glastonbury Tor, you know, that little insect coming in and just being prepared to pause rather than shooing it away, being prepared to pause and see what it was showing us. That's the kind of energy in itself. We were being given a gift in that moment, which is pause, take your time, notice what's going on around you. Don't be in a hurry or assume that something, you know, is there as an irritation or a problem. It could be showing you exactly what you need to see. The very essence of that little moment, that cosmic moment in time of the fly moving between the fog and the joy, was actually giving us information. It was telling us, take your time, slow down, observe what's going on, because everything you need to see to create your longer term future, the steps you need to cross that bridge, to move on those stepping stones to your long-term happiness, is the route to that is being shown to you. There'll be steps to take, and this is a week to trust the universe. You'll be shown everything you need to see, and I mean, it's got a lovely, lovely energy around it, but I also do feel there's a sense of hesitancy around you. But you know, how we use those stationary moments, whether we take time to sort of chill and enjoy, or whether we feel like we should always be pushing ahead, that kind of alters our own energy and how we sit with that. But this is a really lovely week for you. Really, really lovely week. And that sense of that labyrinth, that spiral of fertility, you know, taking your time, taking the long route rather than the short route this week, and trusting that you will be shown exactly what steps you need to get you to where you need to be in order to progress towards your greatest desires, beautiful souls. Pile 3, thank you so much for joining me. Beautiful souls, I really do wish to say, you know, an extra thank you to all of you who follow my readings week in, week out. You're so appreciated, and thank you for sharing those steps of your journey in the comments. I mean, you guys are amazing. I read, you know, the way that you share different aspects and your insights and your you know, your levels of awareness are amazing. I mean, talk about walking the pathway of the spiritual warrior. Super souls, thank you for supporting me, the channel. Thank you for supporting one another as well. It is an absolute privilege to read for you. Please also, can you bear with me if I don't post quite as many readings? I'm still going to be posting a couple of times a week at least. Normally I post 3, but going out onto the land, and I'm feeling such a pull to do this, going out onto the land and tuning into these amazing places. And there are so many places I wish to take you, so many trees I wish to introduce you to, where we will actually draw cards for our readings. And this takes a lot more time. You know, Glastonbury is miles and miles from where I live, so I've needed to drive a fair old way to get there, and then obviously we're tuning in with the energy of the place before then coming back and doing the readings here. So do please bear with me if I don't post every single day, because normally I will post shorts in between the bigger readings. So just do please bear with me, and if you'd like to get notification as soon as I upload anything, do subscribe and press the little bell icon. That way they should come into your stream. And really, super souls, thank you so much for just being here and supporting the channel. Tons and tons of love to you, pile 3. This is actually a very magical week for you, where I feel you're being gifted with everything you need to see and know in order to progress in exactly the right direction, to move towards everything that you really wish to manifest. But trust is involved, because I think in our human-centric world and our goal-driven world, we often feel like we should be ploughing ahead all the time. But actually this is actually about, a bit like me and my readings, quality rather than quantity. Trust you'll be shown exactly the steps you need to take as and when you need them. Beautiful souls, I'm sending you the biggest hug in the world, and I look forward to seeing you for some more readings out on the land. Tons of love to you.